Hi everyone, it's Kristen here from the Dahlia Society. I have some sewing inspiration for you today. I've got all of my makes from the last month that I would love to share with you. So go and grab a cuppa. I'd love to have a chat. If you're new to the channel, this is the Dahlia Society where we talk about all things to do with sewing your own wardrobe, fabric and pattern inspiration, and we also have an online store where we sell monthly bespoke boxes, beautiful theme boxes with fabric and goodies, and also we have wonderful indie patterns and fabrics from around the globe. So I know a lot of you have already subscribed, but if you are watching the channel regularly and you haven't subscribed, I would really appreciate that. Also, if you enjoy today's content, a thumbs up does help bring other people like you to the channel. So what are we all up to? I hope you're all managing to fit in some sewing time. I've got a long awaited vlog here today talking about all the things that I have made in the last month, and I love these chatty vlogs. As most of you know, I'm here once a week to show you the new arrivals and patterns that we have in store, but today is all about talking about my me-mades, some things that you might not have seen yet, and also to show you what was in our last month's bespoke box, which was our deluxe Miss Moresby box called the Garden Gate. So I've got a make here with our exclusive fabric that we had that was very limited edition that I know a lot of you have loved seeing. So I've got on today one of my makes. Now I've spoken about this before. This is the Tilly and the Buttons Drew sweatshirt. I spoke about how much I loved whipping these up 2 weekends ago now. I have literally worn them to death already. I made one, loved it on so much that I ended up making two more, and one of them has been relocated to my daughter Phoebe's wardrobe because she has stolen that off me, which is fine because she had a lot to do with the putting together the color combination, and I think it really suits her. But the Drew sweatshirt is a really easy make. It's a raglan sleeve sweater, quite a simple make that you can do a lot with. Now this particular pattern has two versions. From memory, I made the size 5, and I always get confused with Tilly's sizing because it's not irregular sizing. I'm used to now, Australian, UK, 10, 12, 14, or the European, I usually make a 42, 44, but with Tilly's sizes, I always look at the finished garment measurements to make my mind up, and I didn't want it hugely oversized, but I wanted it comfortable, just sort of warm and snuggly to wear with sweater pants. But the crop version is just a little bit too cropped for me, and I know a lot of people love that with a high-waisted jean, but I prefer this length. I went for the first version in that cozy fleck fabric, which is you'll see a little different color flecks there, really nice stretch. Of course, make sure when you're sewing the Drew that you use the widest stretch for the neck binding, and if you don't have ribbing, it's really important because if you have a stretch fabric that has more stretch one way than the other, there's nothing worse than putting your neck binding on and realizing you haven't done it on the proper stretch and you can't get it to fit properly. I'm sure you've all made that mistake before because I know I have. So always look at the widest stretch for the cuff, the hemband, and the neck. Really easy to put together. Literally, you're looking at an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you can whiz it through. If you've got an overlocker or serger, you can whiz it through quite easily. So that was my first one, and then I'll show you the next pic that I haven't got here because Phoebe has got it. Now this is the version I did with the color blocking, and I noticed on one of Tilly's blogs that you'll see that she's done lots of different versions showing you how she's color blocked. There's quite a few methods, and the one I chose was the one with 4 different colored fabrics. So it's great for stash busting if you've got lots of remnants. You can do it with, French terries or brushed sweater fleece, or even like a cotton jersey. I'd say you could do it with a viscose jersey, although there'll be a lot more drape to it. But it's a really, really great pattern. And I love the fall colorway because I wanted that kind of retro feel. And I wanted to use the orange, the green, the black and the gray. Phoebe sort of helped me place the colors in particular order, and you'll see on the picture I'll put up here showing you how she's used a certain color for the binding and then the hem the same and vice versa, and you've got all the different methods there. But you can do it in 2 colors, you can do it in 3, or you can do it in 1, you can do it in 4. It really is endless, the opportunities there. And also think about doing things like different print print clashing. You could do spots and stripes, you could do florals, you could do checks. Really, the opportunities are endless. It's all about being creative, and as I say, a great way to do a bit of stash busting. But that colour block one is amazing. I love how it came up. Now the third version I made, I showed you the other day, I had it on for my new fabric launches. This is the Lena sweatshirt, and I loved that front and back. I decided to do the same on the sleeve binding and the black on the raglan and the bottom bits, black around the neck. And I put my little rosy cheeks label, Big Cat Energy. I should have my glasses on there. Big Cat Energy, if you can see that there. I think matches really nicely. So they are such staples in the wardrobe for this chilly weather we're having here in Melbourne. It's been cold all week, miserable. You know, we've had some 10-degree days, lots and lots of rain, but today I've got the windows, the curtains all drawn back here because the sun is beautiful. I've even managed to hang a bit of washing on the line. It's just so nice to get that bit of fresh air and sunshine, but I know it won't last because we have got some more cold weather coming. So I'm just thinking about summer sewing versus winter sewing. What do you guys prefer? Every quarter when the seasons change, I get quite excited about new sewing, like winter layering or autumn winter layering coats and jumpers, and then I find that my lifestyle, I don't do a lot of going out and dressing up, even though it may look like it on the channel because I'm always making things for you guys to inspire you. I find that too many dressy things in winter are not going to get worn. Maybe I'll make a nice outfit for my birthday, which I did from last weekend. I'll talk about in a moment, but I'm not sure. I really love that spring summer shift when we can make lots of dresses because dresses are so wearable. You get that nice hint of warm weather and you're wearing a dress, whereas in winter dresses don't come out very often, and you've got to think about your layering, your tights and your boots, and it's just a lot of effort unless you're out and about, and people can see you. If you're home or you work from home like I do, and you find that cozy things, and knits are fantastic. So I must say I love making knit clothing in the winter months, but summer for me is all about the wovens, and I just am really looking forward to we're right in the thick of winter here, but I'm really looking forward to that sort of seasonal change where you can make all the beautiful dresses and blouses and actually wear them. So yeah, I'd love to hear in the comments, are you a fan of winter sewing or are you a summer sewing person? Because I'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, personally, I think I'm a summer sewing person because of what I'm sewing. I'm going to wear a lot more, whereas winter sewing, although I can whip up quick knit things, they are the things I'm going to wear more. But maybe I might make one nice jacket or coat every winter, and I do look forward to doing that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the coat, or the jacket I should say, that I've made here as well. So it's really nice to be able to talk about things that I've made, not just show you new fabrics, because a lot of people, I know, I love to hear inspiration. And also when you're considering trying a new pattern and you're not quite sure about, is it easy to make? What's the sizing like? And I get a lot of comments on patterns at times on Instagram. So it's nice to talk about them with you here on the channel. So they are my Drew sweatshirts. Have I made the matching Tilly sweatpants? No, only because I have a favourite ready to wear Ponte track or sweater pants. I'm a bit lazy there. I have the same ones I love every year. I do buy them from Suzanne Gray. It's a ready-to-wear chain store here in Australia. The only thing I find is sometimes they can be a little bit cropped for me. The length isn't quite there, but occasionally they'll have the Ponte ones I love with the drawstring, and I find them really wearable. I'll just buy the same ones each year, just because it's easy and I don't have the time always to make full outfits. But I do have some patterns that I love for sweater pants and Ponte pants and yoga pants. There's so much to choose from, but yeah, don't have the time, so I just purchase ready to wear sweater pants and I go all out on making my tops. So love the Drew sweater. The next make you remember was from Friday Pattern Company. This is in that beautiful rune fabric from Fabric Godmother, and of course that one's all sold out. It came in the navy and beautiful kind of burgundy colorway. I love this color. It's one of my favorite colorways together. It's such a deep navy, almost purpley navy. This one also came in a pink and red colorway, which was beautiful. But it's a viscose twill, so it has that really nice brushy kind of, it's not brushy, it's more like, I wouldn't say it's overly slippery, very hard to describe, but it's quite a good weight for autumn, winter wearing. And yeah, the viscose twill from Fabric Godmother is always beautiful quality. I wanted to make a Donny. Friday Pattern Company Donny is one of our most popular patterns in store, and at the moment we are out of them. We're waiting for more to get reprinted, and we're going to do another order. And you'll notice this one was with the sleeve expansion hack that I purchased. You can download PDF, and it was a really easy make. If you've made the Donny before, you know it's a lovely open collar V-neck style blouse with the burrito method at the back. Really easy to do, that nice sort of gathering along the back there, and a lovely stitch down kind of placket. It does take a little bit of pinning to make sure you have it all sitting nicely. I made the large at the shoulders, extra large at the hips, and this time I remembered to lengthen. Last time I made the Donny, I found it quite a crop style, and I just like that little bit of extra added length, so I added about 10 centimeters to mine, and really happy with how it looks with my favorite pair of jeans. I added this really nice little button, and you've got great instructions. One of my preferred methods for doing the cuff, the placket, there's no sewn on separate placket there for the button, the open there. It's done with bias binding, which is fantastic. Really quick and easy way to do your sleeves there. And yeah, sewed up really nicely. And I didn't do any pattern matching at the front, although it's not too bad. Look, I'm not a huge pattern match person. If there ever is great pattern matching from me, it is a total fluke, because I don't put a lot of effort into pattern matching unless there's something really special that you need. Say you've got a great big flower and you need the other half, otherwise it will look a bit silly. With a pattern that's kind of mismatched or non-directional, I don't bother pattern matching, but I really like the Donny and the way it's come up. You see that Friday Pattern Company has released the brand new Wren dress. There's a strappy kind of wrap style dress. I love the look of it on. I'm just a little disappointed it's not a bit more bra friendly. I'm really getting a bit disheartened with a lot of my favorite pattern designers releasing patterns that aren't particularly bra friendly. And I know there are so many strapless bra options around. I've never quite found one that I've loved wearing. Some of them are okay. If it's just a special occasion and you don't mind wearing it all the time. But for a really warm summer day, here in Australia, we get those high 30 days. We'll get days in a row of really hot weather. I don't feel like wearing a strapless bra. They get quite the diggy in the sides. But I just really want some of my favorite indie pattern companies to release some bra-friendly options. And I know it's quite easily to widen the straps. That's an easy alteration hack to do. But I feel like I just want more, maybe cap sleeve summer dresses, or maybe wider sleeve, a bit easy to wear. I find that anything strappy for me, I have sloping shoulders and they can do that falling on and off thing all day. And I know you can get strap holders and that, all those kind of little nifty things, but I just feel like there's a little bit of a void there in the indie pattern market for summer dresses that aren't so strappy. I don't know. I would love to hear your comments below as well. What do you think? Do you think we need more bra-friendly options for these beautiful summer dresses? Because I do have a lot of images in my mind that I have quite a few patterns that I would love to be able to create one day. It could be something I might have to get into. And I know that there are a lot of different companies where you can design your own patterns or download or have your own pattern block and maybe do a bit of drafting there. It's just time for me. I just don't have the time to invest into it. But one day, if I have the time, I'd love to learn how to design patterns, but it's a whole new ball game. It could be something I might want to try in the future, or even collaborate with another indie pattern company to maybe come up with some designs. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one too. But Friday Pattern Company, of course, is a wonderful indie pattern design company. It's always one of the first pattern companies that I will tell a young person that's maybe learning to sew it's a kind of cool, hip, trendy pattern company, but also really wearable for any age or any gender as well. And I just think their patterns are great. And Chelsea does put a lot of work into her patterns and has great sew-alongs as well. And I just heard the other day that she's having a baby as well, which is really exciting for her. So that will be interesting to see whether she comes out in the future with baby patterns, maybe children's patterns. It's be interesting to see where it goes for her with Friday Pattern Company. But that is a great blouse. If you don't want a button front blouse and you want that collar look, that shirt style, yeah, it's fantastic. I did discuss, we're going to talk about the last month's box, the Miss Moresby box. We were so thrilled to be able to collaborate with the beautiful Sarah from Miss Moresby. She let us choose a print, one of her prints to license, and we jumped at the chance because we knew that you guys would be all over that, having an exclusive print just from the Dahlia Society. And her artwork was called Companion Planting, and we thought the garden gate theme really fit the theme of that box to bring it all together. And I know that it's wet and cold here in Melbourne, but a lot of people are out in the garden still, and then we thought we'll put the pic of the little gumboots or Wellingtons, whatever you call them in your country. We call them gumboots here, and the little wicker basket with the flowers, because yeah, it's a nice time of year to get out in the garden and do some different. Even though my garden is very neglected at the moment, it is horrendous out there. We've got so much work to do because we've spent a lot of time in here building the studio. We've really neglected the yard, so it's something that I'm looking at, and I've got a whole area out here next to our studio that is just a bare landscape now, and we had all our dahlia bulbs that were growing with stakes that need to be all dug up. A lot of them had a disastrous year this year, and we hardly got any flowers, and I think they got a bit burnt it before. We had a really, really early hot summer, and we had those really couple of boiling hot days in November, and they kind of never, a lot of the leaf that was popping up then got really burnt. And the same thing with a lot of our vegetables as well, and the passion fruit vine. It got a shock, and then we got a lot of rain after that, and they got a bit waterlogged. So because they're autumn flowering, they were really confused. So we didn't get a great abundance of flowers this year. So I think what I'm going to do next year is dig those bulbs up. Now, we usually plant our bulbs in around November. The ground has to warm up a little bit for the bulbs to go in. So by the time you get till sort of March, April, you should get lots of flowers. But yeah, this year we had nothing. So, well, not a lot, very minimal. So I'm going to be digging all of those up. We're going to be doing some more planting and maybe change the spot that I plant them, and maybe even divide the bulbs, but that's a whole another episode. It's it's a shame. But anyway, the garden needs a lot of attention. As you know, I normally film out in the garden. It gets very hard because there is a lot of noise with neighbours and animals and cars and driving past, but I know a lot of you love to hear the native birds. So as soon as we get a bit of drier weather, I'll be out there filming again, because I think it's lovely to have that bit of greenery in the background. Getting back to the garden gate box, I got way off on a tangent there. So when beautiful Sarah was happy to collaborate on this exclusive fabric, we were all over this print. We just thought it was absolutely beautiful. We had this planned at the start of the year, and we really wanted to make sure it was in that June box. And this particular fabric is just a stunning, stunning print, and it's a cotton sateen, really lovely, a bit more structured than the usual viscose or rayons that I use, but I thought it would really add something different. And I really wanted to use this pattern, this print, without splicing it in half. So I didn't want to do anything with too many seam lines. I also thought I'm always making shirts and blouses. I need to do something a bit different. So I was quite stuck with what pattern to use for our box. And I thought with that little bit of structure, this penny style pattern will come up really nicely. Now, this is the Go With The Flow from Pattern Emporium. And normally you'll see Kate, I'm talking about thin straps. I made mine a bit wider. I decided to make this like a pinafore style version, but I will be able to wear it in summertime as well, maybe with a little tee underneath, or maybe just with a bra. I've made it wide enough for the bra strap. And this I love because it's got a really unique way of doing the kind of yoke here. You've got other versions of the yoke. You can either do the straight across or the V. I've done the V front and V back. And I've done the regular version, so not the FBA, and this was in a size 14 around the bust. But because it's quite structured fabric and that pattern is quite like a tent style A-line, lots and lots of volume there, I thought the cotton sateen might look too voluminous and stick out too sort of structured and straight. So I took a lot of the width of the skirt out and made it more of a slim down A-line. I just kept trying it on and taking a bit out the side as I went. Sometimes that's the best way to do it, because you end up with so much volume and without that drapiness of a normal floaty like a crepe or a rayon or viscose. I didn't want it to look too tenty, and I think it came up really nice. And I'm wearing mine with a polo neck, very fine knit, ready to wear top I've had in the wardrobe for years, and a pair of black boots. And you can also pop a belt on with that or leave it off, but really love the pattern, and I think it would look really cute with a little cap sleeve t-shirt or a ribbed top underneath for summer as well. I normally don't make a lot of strappy things, but I think Kate's patterns are so versatile and they're great for layering. So love this print. The fabric is just divine. Love the green. As soon as I saw the green, I'm like, yeah, we have to have that because it's so gorgeous. Very different to a lot of her other prints, but she's got so much beautiful detail there. And I hope if you've purchased a box that you loved it. We had, I'll put some pics so you can see, we had the beautiful Pebbly Path, Lover's Lane Rocky Road, which is just absolutely divine. Beautiful rocky road. Ate way too many of those. Now I'm trying to be really good because I got a bit out of control with that chocolate. We had the chamomile tea from Zoetic. We also had a beautiful melt, a lovely lemon myrtle melts from Aroma Pot Candles Australia. And the sewing gift was a beautiful little ladybird La La Land zip sewing pouch, and we had a little tailor's chalk in there as well, and some matching Gutermann thread. So it was a really gorgeous box, and I hope you loved it. But I'd love to hear if you purchase one of these boxes, Garden Gate, what you're making with your fabric. Have you made something up? I'd love to see what it is. But I think it would make also a beautiful bias cut skirt, would work really nicely in this fabric as well. But yeah, the fabric has all sold out. I've kept myself a couple of little remnant pieces, and I might even make myself a top as well in this beautiful fabric. I think the fabric itself would be beautiful in something like the Closet Core Shallow, like a boxy style top. But yeah, a really nice pinafore style dress that I can wear right throughout the season. This was a pattern I've been eyeing off for so long. The Shakood patterns from Charlotte in France are one of our most popular brand patterns. And you'll know that a lot of her patterns are only in French. There's a lot of her patterns she's changed to have English instructions, but most of them are actually only in French. She's slowly going through her inventory. But I had a customer ask the other day about translating and what I do. And I use my Google app, my Google Translate feature on my iPhone, and I just tap the little camera feature there, hover it over the print, and it magically transforms, translates. You can also type in, your instructions. You can do it that way, but it takes a lot longer. Sometimes it translates a little bit strange, but you can usually decipher it and work it out quite quickly. But if you haven't learned how to do that, I'm going to link a video that I sent to one of my customers explaining how to use that Google Translate feature, so that then you can use any language pattern and not have to worry about mucking around too much with translating. It's a really easy thing to do. And you know what? Shakood's instructions are beautiful. You've got lots of descriptive pictures and illustrations, very easy to follow, and having the translated text there makes it easy as well. But this is the Silo, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a quilted jacket, and I made this in the beautiful Cousette circle quilted fabric. So it was already pre-quilted. I didn't have to quilt it myself. I made this size 42. Now, normally I look at 44 to 46, but I looked at the finished garment measurements and thought I won't need anything too large because I wanted it more of a cropped fitted jacket. And boy, I am glad I didn't make it too big because it's quite roomy little bit more of a boxy style, but you've got the princess seams through the front, which work quite well. You've got the sort of constructed, the pockets that are all sewn into the sides as well. You've got the little dip up there on the side to give you that shaping. And the sleeve, I took a little bit of length out, which I normally always do. My arms aren't the longest. But I found it a really simple pattern to put together. Of course, you've got the princess seams and you've got the seams through the back to give you that bit of shaping. And I then used a beautiful little creativity, never goes out of style, another rosy cheeks label there. I used our elastic bias binding, which was the snake skin one. I thought matched really well. And it was quite easy to do. I would recommend, if you're going to use either a knit or an elastic bias binding, I would highly recommend when you are going around your curves not to pull, not to stretch, because you will distort that curve. So make sure you have it, you know, all pinned nicely, no pulling, to keep that shape. So it, you know, otherwise you can get a bit of a mess with the sides if you need to use that structure. And I found I had to keep pressing and pressing and pressing to get it to sit nice and flat, because it was sitting up, sort of curling up at the start there. But yeah, be careful of that. But it was a really easy way to do it. And you just do it like a normal bias binding method, but you don't have that excess to fold over and tuck in underneath, because it's just, I actually sewed on the inside first and then flipped it over and done a top stitch around the edges to keep it down nice and flat, and it ended up looking really nice. And I love this jacket, and I love the fabric. You've got that kind of charcoal on the inside, and you can see I didn't do Hong Kong seams because I just simply didn't have the time. I wanted to wear it on our weekend away, which I did, but I used just the overlocking stitch. But if you've got plenty of time and you really want to put a lot of detail, all those beautiful little hidden features, you can definitely look at bias binding, doing Hong Kong binding on your seams to give that beautiful finish. But I'm just not that fussy. I know a lot of you will be saying, what? But that's just me. I wanted it nice and simple. And I'm not going to be wearing it reversible, but if you were going to wear it reversible, you could definitely think about doing French seams or doing it with the Hong Kong method. But really lovely little jacket. And I must say, I love loving her patterns. Her inventory is growing. She has so many amazing, really couture, kind of high-end looking patterns, very fashionable, fashion forward indie patterns from Shakood. But that one I think is gorgeous and a really good color, I think, to wear with a lot of different things. And that mockery color has been quite popular this year as well. It does go with quite a lot. You know, you wear it with your brights or your autumn colors as well. But really lovely little jacket, the silo. And all the patterns I'm talking about here today will be linked in the description box. We do have most of these patterns in store. There are some that are PDF only, and I'll make sure I'll link all those that will direct you to the Pattern Designer store. As far as fabrics go, we still have a little bit of bits here and there, so I'll link the fabrics as well if we do have them left. Now, the highlight of the month was my birthday dress I made, and this was a dress that I've been looking at for quite some time now from the beautiful Cousette Patterns. Got her on my mannequin here, and this is the Espelette dress from Cousette Patterns. Was it an easy make? I would say there was a little bit more detail in here than I was anticipating, and mainly that would be with these pleat details here at the front and having to continue them down and stitch them and making sure they all kind of lined up at the bust there. So I really love this dress, don't get me wrong, it was absolutely beautiful, and I would definitely make it again. And you can make it in the blouse version if you don't want to make it in the dress. You can make it in the cap sleeve version, which I think would be beautiful for summer. You can make it with the frill or the tier on the bottom or without. And yeah, definitely can make the longer sleeves if you like. But I really love this fabric. This is the, sorry, I'm getting a bit of sunlight here coming through. This is the Cousette Tropical Viscose fabric. It is such a beautiful texture, and I think the color in it is amazing. The different kind of indigo purple colors, the greens, and it's a really unusual, I call it like a sepia color background, but I just felt amazing in it, and it was just right up my alley. I actually wore this with a little blue sort of indigo color denim jacket. I think it would look incredible with the Cousette denims. All the colors match lovely. The toffee will match beautifully as well. I'll just grab a bolt to show you. That is the new toffee denim. Look how nice that will look, like a little denim jacket with that as well. But but I love the pattern, and I was tempted to make it in the blouse, and I had a few pieces, remnants of fabric. I thought, no, I'll make the dress because I always like to make a birthday dress, probably one of the only winter dresses that I will be making. But this one you can definitely wear all year round with this beautiful viscose fabric. So what I would say the challenging parts about the pattern would be at the neckline here, you have your little notches all along the shoulder seam that you need to do those fold pleats. So I'm not sure if you can see clearly there. The folded over pleats have to continue, and you need to stitch a line to keep them flat there, but then they have to also continue underneath quite straight to give that sort of lined up gathered effect. So you need to do 2 lines of stitching there, and then it all comes together at the front with that kind of that nice kind of gathery effect, sort of floaty effect. But when I tried it on, I just felt like it gave me, I know it's not meant to have shape, but I felt didn't quite give me enough shaping. I just wanted a slight bit of shape, and I thought if I put a tie on at the back, it will then tie the back in tighter, and I'd lose all those folds and pleats. So I was umming and ahhing about what to do, and I decided to do the ties on the sides, but just tied up at the front. That way it would keep the pleats nicely intact and give me a little bit of shape. So that was the first dilemma, and I really liked how it came up. And then I tried it on with my boots and thought, the knee length wasn't me. I needed to have that little bit of a frill around the bottom, a bit of a boho feel. I felt it really needed the boho feel to it. So I added the frill around the bottom. And you know, when you're going 100 miles an hour trying to finish something and get it done in time for a special occasion, you're like, I can get this done and I'll have it all finished. And sewed the frill on around the bottom. I thought that really doesn't look like it's got enough ease, enough gathering. I couldn't work out, and I had a look at the pattern instructions, and of course I was meant to do 3 separate pieces for the tier. Normally when you do a tier there's 2 pieces, but this had 3 separate. Well, the pattern said ×3, so I'd only cut 2, and I'm like, I just didn't read properly. So I ended up unpicking the tier off the bottom, adding another section to the bottom tier, regathering it, sewed it on, just fell in love with it. I was really, really thrilled with it, how it came out. But yeah, I even forget to check pattern. Sometimes when you're looking at pattern pieces and you just don't check how many, ×2, back and front ×2, or sleeve ×2. But the tier, I normally just do two pieces and didn't look. And I think it's because they were quite wide pieces. Obviously, they needed to do them for 3 because a lot of the time your fabric isn't wide enough to fit 2 really long lengths of fabric. And I also had to cut them cross-grained, the bottom tiers, because I didn't have enough fabric. So managed to get them out of the scraps I had. Was absolutely rapt with how it came up. And love the sleeve, of course, very simple sleeve. We got that little elastic, just how I like it, around the bottom that you can pull up nice and easily. But I love this dress on. With the actual volume of the dress, I would say I took quite a bit of volume out once I had it on. And that's something I've been doing lately. I just don't want too much volume or too much sort of in the areas that I don't want to highlight. But when I have had that tie, it cinched it in quite nicely, and I felt there was just the right amount of ease in the skirt. But I would love to make this pattern in just the simple blouse version, maybe make it a little bit longer, or maybe make it in the sleeveless. It's kind of a cap sleeve that's really pretty, also in the long length. But I just feel that I need that tie when there's quite a lot of volume in a pattern. It's just what I like for my body best, and I felt really great in it. But I think that dress will look amazing with the jacket as well, the Shakood jacket. I'll try that on here so you can see. I'll put some pics in as well, and that matches really nicely as well. I wasn't too sure about the bias binding being being in print, but then I thought, well, it's quite a neutral kind of print. It'll go with most things, and I think it does. But that's the thing, when you add a bias binding color, it really depends on what you can wear with it. It really limits you to only be able to wear certain colors with it. So, you know, I was thinking about doing a black, and then I thought, no, the black will mean that your eye gets drawn straight away to the piping. And sometimes if you use a darker piping, that's all you look at. And if you haven't stitched it perfectly, it will show up. Whereas when you use a lighter binding or a little bit of a print in there, or even a gingham or a stripe or a polka dot, you don't necessarily just look at how straight the binding is. It's a really kind of like an illusion, isn't it? Your eye gets drawn to certain things, and when there's a dark color, it gets drawn to it straight away. So I quite like having that neutral binding. But they are my makes for the last month. I'd love to hear your comments below. What did you like out of what I made? Did you love the fabric we chose for our deluxe box? And also, I'd love to hear what you've been sewing up for your wardrobe in the last month as well. I am going to have a walkthrough of our studio this week. We're going to film that. That's all ready to go now, so that's the next time you'll see me. I am dying to show you what we've been doing in here. It's been just so fun. We've had a blast organising this sewing space, and we've got a bit of a multi-purpose room that the kids have been really enjoying, you know, playing the video games. I've even been doing a bit of yoga in there, which has been really nice. We've got the pool table set up. It's kind of like a little party cave / relaxation room that everyone's been using. So I'm going to show you what we've done in there. I really enjoyed putting all that together. I've gone all out with the decorating as well. I haven't held back because I just think, you know, a lot of people decorate homes for resale purposes and go really neutral. Well, I'm not going anywhere. This is our space, and I want to really put the love into it and show our personalities off. So we've really gone all out with the decorating. So I can't wait to show you what we've done in there. The box launch, of course, Sunday night, 7 p.m. We've got our Femme Fatale box. There'll be 2 colorways. We've got the Ava Gardner box and the Marilyn Monroe box. So you can choose either one of those. Yes, so, and also I've got a plans video coming out. So things that I want to make. I'm slightly shifting to maybe more transitional pieces, because even though we're right in the middle of winter, I'm thinking about sewing for the next season, or maybe some more layering pieces as well. So let me know in the comments what you've been up to, what you've liked here today, and I will catch up with you all very shortly for another vlog. Take care. See you all soon. Bye for now.